Well, hi there and welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we love to what?
Well,
improve things like
our homes.
Your life, maybe.
And day and night we do it.
All over the place.
We can't stop.
All over the world. So anyway, thanks for hanging with us. And this past weekend, I was inspired to clean out the medicine cabinet.
You are a brave soul, and I'm proud of you.
Do you have things in the medicine cabinet that are like mishmashed all over the place?
When you look in there and you see sort of an old, it almost looks like parchment paper on the prescription bottles, it's time because, those things apparently lose their strength.
It's like 1982.
Try 77, like some acne meds, back in the day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, you got to get rid of that
stuff. So this is springtime, and this is really, we thought we would devote really this whole hour to a spring cleaning get ready. And why not come up with ways to just kind of dust free and tidy up where you live?
Yeah, and I think that to that, it all starts with prevention. I mean, you notice that first of all, you may have a ton of clutter, and then you've got issues of purging and
dust bunnies.
And the spring feels like a time of renewal, obviously. So this, I think, is a great topic to talk about today.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, the medicine cabinet thing really kind of got me pumped.
I love the medicine cabinet because it reminds me of the famed and infamous kitchen drawer has the menus and pizza menus and all this paper clips, and you pull out, like I pull out one thing in that drawer, and it's like, remember that game with the monkeys that would interlock their arms as you pulled them out of a barrel? That's how that drawer feels to me.
It's a collection.
Exactly.
So step one, what do you think in terms of just kind of creating that preventative dust-free
Because
place?
it is all about prevention. The first thing I like to talk about is the idea of the doormat, which becomes essentially a dust mat.
So keep it outside.
Keep it out. I mean, even to the point of I have tons of friends, and I can't do this obviously because I've got 500 kids running in and out of the house, but keeping the shoes off at the door or as you walk in the home in the foyer or the entryway area if you have one. Otherwise, just maybe outside the front door. Keep the shoes, the dirt, the mud. I can't tell you, when I do a cleaning every week and I sweep my floor, I have hardwood floors downstairs, I sweep the floor maybe twice a week. I'm overwhelmed that there's literally like a 2-inch pile of dirt that's been tracked in from the entire, ground floor of this 2,200 square foot home I have. It's like so much dirt and sand, and I keep thinking, what is the matter here? And then I look down at my daughter, and she's traipsing through the thing in her wellies with the mud, and the dirt falls off the boots, and there you go. So it's about prevention. Get a doormat that has like the ability to wipe off, knock off, kick off all the mud, dirt, grime that comes in from outside into the home.
And then remember to hose off that mat. Or you could even shop vac it.
Shop vac it, or just hold it up away from the front door, and beat it. Just like it,
like the European way,
like the old world way, with a big flowy skirt and a cane, and just start whacking that thing again. You'll be amazed how much stuff comes off that.
Perfect.
That's number one.
Next, if you're a pet lover, right? It's all about talk about a dust mop. I mean, they're like. We have 2 old English sheepdogs. Hazel's been trimmed down quite a bit.
Hazel, yeah. Now we bought Hazel because of her, the properties of having she's a Labrador.
It's like a standard poodle almost. Her fur is very kinky.
It's almost like a stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Like there's really nothing that comes off of Hazel, which is great. They say that dander's minimized with these Labradoodle breeds, which is essentially just a mutt with 2 different breeds that work great.
But if you have like a real fluffy dog like we have, Bailey and Abby, they're old English sheepdogs.
And you brush them out.
You brush them out. We keep them teddy bear cut, but still, between the dead hair and the dead skin cells, that too is going to be a really big source of dust.
Suddenly you look in the corner and what's there? It's a tumbleweed of dog hair.
It's a little tuft.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Right. So you want to keep them groomed effectively and wash them, obviously.
Yeah.
Brush them out.
Of course, keep kitty litter boxes covered because that will hold down the dust.
Sure. And then cat hair, obviously, too, is huge. You got to, and
how's Jack doing, by the way?
Well, Jack is one of those bipolar cats where he's gently laying on your chest and then he rips your larynx out. And then he's back and he wants some more love. He's kind of crazy. I think it might be like, remember Sybil, the old book and the TV show about the multiple? Yeah, I think Jack's a little nuts.
Well, all right. So if you are a pet lover, do the best you can to groom them, and it's all the obvious stuff. But this is spring cleaning time.
Right.
So what about keeping windows closed? We like to open up the windows to bring the fresh air in.
Sure. And now if you keep the windows open, obviously you're going to notice occasionally at the end of the season, the summer season, those screens are going to be filled with dirt and dust. So if you are going to open the windows, obviously, which we all love to do,
Like
you may want to hose the house off, and just clean a nice natural bristle brush, some water, a little bit of, some kind of a shampoo detergent of some sort.
You're going to say vinegar, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Not this time, but it will come in this conversation, trust me. But just gently, agitate the screens or even take them off the windows and just hose them off. And then when you open the windows, you're not going to blow all the dust that's collected in those essential dust filters that the screens become over the winter. So clean them off.
It's like that pollen that, especially if you have springtime allergies, right? I mean, the dust comes through the doors in the form of little mold spores and pollen.
There's no question. I know.
Like Avatar, they just kind of float
They float
on.
in and they go right as you're breathing. They go right in your lungs, and then you start hacking and coughing.
Yummy.
Right. So clean the screens. Keep the windows closed if you are a person with allergies. Otherwise, keep the screens clean and let the winds come in, and it should be okay. But keep in mind, you will be blowing in pollen and debris all the time when the windows are open. So that's why you have a HVAC filter, which filters all that stuff out. Anyway, I digress.
What
Go
about
ahead.
the flooring, though? You're a hardwood floor guy. We have hard floor surfaces as well throughout most of the house, except like our home office area. But it turns out, I guess, getting rid of carpet might be a pretty good idea to get rid of dust.
And I'll tell you, having removed so many carpets in my life as a contractor, you take the carpet up, you take the padding up, and what's under the padding on the subfloor of the home, again, literally an inch of dirt.
Years.
And then this is what my pet peeve is about carpet installers. I want to strangle them with my hands, my bare hands.
It's kind of lazy on their part.
They don't sweep up or vacuum the dirt.
That?
They go right over the dirt and start
so
over again. It's
gross.
just lazy. It makes me crazy. So when you have a new carpeting installed, make sure you watch these guys and gals.
Yeah.
And you get that, even if you have to do it yourself, clean that stuff up, start over in a fresh slate. But having said that, and seeing the actual result of having carpet in your home over the years, it literally is like a collecting device for dirt and dust.
Well, hold that thought. We have more tips to help you get rid of dust for good, because it's spring cleaning time. Whether you're in an apartment or house, we're going to get it all good for you. Eric Stormer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards.
Feeling groovy. Hello lamppost, what you knowin'? I come to watch your flowers growin'. Ain't you got no rhymes for me?
Now, here's a rule. If you're going to be doing spring cleaning, you got to put on this kind of music to kind of get your kick in your footstep.
That's
you
it.
You
something
be
to be able to vacuum too,
just gotta be
effectively. Even
bouncing
if you got a dust broom, something.
Yeah.
Where you're moving and you're grooving.
You got to crank up peppy
And again,
music.
it's all personal, because you may be a funk guy or an R&B singer person or
whatever your
a country music. But whatever you do, put some energetic music on and make it happen.
And who are you, by the way?
I'm Eric Stroman.
And I'm Cindy Dole. And
That's
you're listening to Home Wizards, and we love to put a little something in your step and make you feel better about the place you call home, even if it means, well, cleaning.
I know. And I know it sounds worse than it really is. It can be really fun, actually.
It can be rewarding, because afterwards you go, wow, I accomplished a lot.
You can burn a heck load of calories, I'll tell you that. And even if you can engage your filthy children into helping you, that's always something else.
Hello, allowance.
Hello, here's your car money. If you want to do anything this weekend or the rest of your life, you better clean something up. That's
Get your
what I'm
start
doing.
on that 401k right here.
That's
with
right.
these pillows.
That's it.
I'm
not going to say it's an idle threat,
So what about cleaning the pillows? I mean, the pillows.
Okay, now listen to me on this. This is incredible. I used to watch my grandma, bless her heart. Her name was Ida.
Oh.
Ida Stromer. She was from the old country.
Of course.
And she was one of these people that would pickle and can, and she lived up in Winnipeg,
Well,
Manitoba.
she was a home wizard, apparently.
One of the originals. It was hard for her to get through the doorways with the pointy hat, though. But anyway, that's another story. But she was something else, and she would take all the blankets out. They were all handmade quilts that she would create herself. And in the spring, I remember I would visit, and she'd be out there beating the stuff, making a joke the last segment. But she was really out there with a cane beating the pillows and the blankets. And I remember seeing in the sunlight this silhouette of dust bunnies just flying out of everything. And I'll never forget that image. And as a result, I do that every Sunday. We take all the blankets out, hang them in the sun, beat them out, and then you can't believe the stuff that comes out of the pillow. And it's just pure dander and all the stuff that comes from your scalp and your hair and your skin. And in a couple of months, man, have you tried lifting your mattress after you've had it for a couple of years?
Oh, I know.
It gets
Heavy.
so heavy, and that's not a coincidence. That's coming from you or your pets, and it's all the dander that comes off your body and makes this thing weightier.
So see, we really are losing weight when we sleep.
Well, that's what they say. Yeah, exactly. That's a whole other story. But yes, we are.
Isn't that nice? It's dead skin cells.
I know.
I feel so thin all of a sudden.
I know.
So we're going to take,
Yeah.
well, by the way, you can also put certain pillows in the washing machine.
You
You know,
can. You
certain
sure
ones.
can.
Make
and,
sure.
And when you put them in the dryer, you should put something to agitate, like a shoe, an old tennis shoe, because it'll beat it, or a tennis ball. It'll beat the fluff out, because those feathers have a tendency to clump together, right? And that's an issue. That's why Grandma used the cane.
See? She knew what she was talking about.
She sure did, boy.
Isn't that great that image stayed with you, and now you keep that tradition? I love that.
Yeah, it's sure. And I even take on her voice a little bit and scream at my children to beat the pillow. That's a little awkward, but
Well, by the way, you could also, if you don't want to go there, you can take your pillows to the dry cleaners.
Yes, you can.
Nothing wrong with having someone else help. You
That's
know.
right.
What about just the power of water, like a good damp mopping and dusting? It really will.
You know, we are so blessed to have a young lady in our lives named Maria who is so gifted at the art of cleaning things. We just love her to death. She's been in our family for 100 years, and she takes the hardwood floor on, uses the damp mop, uses the water or the vinegar or whatever it is to neutralize the dust bunnies, and then the day that she's not there, I'll do it, right? So we take turns and get the hardwood floor or the tile floors cleaned up that way. Just neutralizing the dust bunnies and getting rid of the dust once or twice a week really makes a huge difference. Keeps the dander down, makes it just feel more like, you got a nice rich hardwood floor that doesn't have that layer of dust on it.
And speaking of moisture, I haven't done this yet, but especially when we are here in a studio where you go to places where there's a lot of electronics, there's static electricity. You can get it also just from your carpeting, right?
Boy, that's true.
And it builds up in your home when things are really dry.
Yes, and to that point, what neutralizes static electricity?
Water.
A humidifier.
Which I love.
Which really makes a huge difference.
Helps your sinuses, too.
Sinuses, keeps the dander down, that with a...
Moisture on your skin.
Yes.
Hello.
Like you're sleeping in a terrarium.
A little bit like a rainforest. We sometimes have that... certain seasons when I get sinus pressure, I'll sleep with this on.
Yeah.
The old vaporizer, humidifier. But it is a little bit like you're sleeping in a rainforest.
Sure.
Sometimes it gets a little moist.
And you know what else, too? When you go up to the mountain country, I ski quite a bit, snow ski, and a lot of the hotels or the places that I'll rent or stay in, they have a humidifier in the room because it's so dry.
Yeah.
That if
and
you
the
don't,
higher altitude.
And the
yeah,
higher
yeah.
altitude, if you don't use it, man, you're in a world of hurt for your sleeping scenario. It really makes a difference with sleeping. So get a humidifier.
Yeah. What about also dusting upholstery, like using a vacuum, like if it has one of those nice long wands?
Yes, and a lot of the new ones have the HEPA filter, right,
Yep,
which really
yep.
kind of takes out some of the allergens that might be an issue. So if you're in the market for a new vacuum cleaner, make sure that that's one of the features that you employ in this new device of yours.
For everything, and not just curtains, but like how about your lampshade? You know what I mean?
Everything.
The sofa.
And you can vacuum everything, and a great shop vac tool will do the trick. But again, don't forget, if you have one of those old shop vacs and it doesn't have a filter or a HEPA filter, you're essentially just blowing it all right back into the room again. So be very, very careful about that. Don't use the shop vac from the garage thinking that you're really getting everything, because you're just redispersing it through the air again.
Which is kind of gross.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a good way to clean out the shop vac?
Well, now the shop vac you can clean out with water because it usually has a tub in it, right? And you can just hose it out,
and then just dump it out.
Or they sell a lot of HEPA filters, or there's a little sponge filter that goes on the intake inside the vacuum itself. So you got to make sure that's always clean and debris free. So pretty much, again, water is the essential thing when it comes to cleaning and keeping the dust at bay with those shop vacs.
So not only the humidifier, but what about an air purifier? Too.
Well, that's taking it to the next level, baby.
To kind of one of those portable units to kind of circulate the air and capture the dust.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it neutralizes all the dust bunnies and keeps them at bay. So yeah, anything you can do will be helpful, especially again if you've got the sinus issues or the allergies. So
and of course furnace filters. We are big on filters. They're inexpensive and it's a must.
You clean and change them twice as often as you think you're supposed to, especially in the spring and as we're going into fall, when tons of pollens and allergens are floating around in the air. I mean, that really is your only connection to creating a better environment with internal air quality. You definitely want to change those because think about it. You've got a huge intake area, which is that grate in the ceiling or on the wall that's bringing in all the interior air into that system. And again, either A, filtering it out with a cleaned out filter, which is what you want, or B, clogging it so that it doesn't operate effectively as a machine, and it puts more taxation on it, or taxes it more, and then that's going to break down more often on you. Or C, you clean it and it filters out effectively, and you're all good.
How about other areas like your home office? This is very basic, but think about it. How often are you really remembering to wipe down your computer screen that's covered with dust?
It really does. It picks it up. Again, that's static electricity.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of water
and a microfiber cloth.
There you go.
You like that?
I love it.
Yeah.
Sometimes damp it up a little bit.
And do that not only with your screen, but like maybe your mouse pad if you have a mouse.
And keep in mind, if you've got little kids like I do, you got to clean it again. Vinegar and water. I told you it would come, and I'll tell you why. Because when you touch the iPad screen or any of those screens with your hands, and the hands have peanut butter on them,
right?
That's going to impede how you operate that device down the road. No,
not good.
No.
Here's a really good tip for the microwave, because we love shortcuts, right?
Yeah.
Lemons. Now, if you're lucky, like both Eric and I have a lemon tree, another good reason to grow lemons. You can grow these in a container, by the way, and not only then have lemon slices, in your water and use it for cooking, but whether it's store-bought or from your garden, have a lemon. You cut one in half. You put the pieces in a microsafe bowl and fill it with water. You put that baby in the microwave for about 2 to 3 minutes. Are you ready for this? The steam is going to soften any splashes or hardened gunk that might have been, kind of exploded.
You mean
inside
like
your
the
microwave.
spaghetti dinner you're reheating?
It might have ended up on the walls of the microwave.
Yeah.
And now the double bonus is you're going to have a nice citrus scent as well. So you can do this, and then afterwards you grate the fruit in the garbage disposal.
So
And
that's a repurposed lemon right there. You can't do more. You can't do more with a lemon than you just demonstrated.
So again, cut a lemon in half, put it in a microsafe, glass bowl of some kind, fill it with water, 2 to 3 minutes,
steam away
in the microwave,
Yeah.
and it's going to just moisten and get all that gunk, that marinara sauce that somehow made it to the wall of the
and
microwave.
it beats the heck out of spraying a bunch of chemicals in there with a spray bottle where you're inhaling it, and that's
and
not
to
good
that
for you.
point, you can save the leftover lemon water, put it in a spritzer bottle,
Get out of
and
here.
spray it away.
That's
Hello?
almost 4 things, and
4
then on the
things?
way to the microwave, squeeze it in the tea as you're going there. So
and then
that's
under
5 things.
And under your armpits
Oh
occasionally.
my goodness,
maybe.
it just keeps getting better.
I know. Don't forget to purge the fridge too. Speaking of lemons,
Yeah.
pull the trash can over. Dump the lingering leftovers and all that stuff. There you go. Don't forget to put the baking soda box inside there. All that.
Huge difference.
We'll put this on the website. Some quick things to do to get spring dust free. When we come back, more ways to enjoy this new season, like some really quick and easy crafting ideas that are for men and women. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards.
It's one of those days for taking a walk outside. I'm blowing the day to take a walk in the sun.